dreamers of dreamers. And we are the dreamers of dreams.
Relaxing after a presentation on this subject in Florida a few years ago, a scientist approached me. He told me he was asleep through most of my presentation, until I put up that blueprint. Blueprint? What blueprint? I asked. He fished through my slides until he came to a 2nd century drawing of the Meru Pillar or tower. That blueprint, he responded. Studying the drawing, the scientist told me that he designed particle beam weapons for a living. Laser cannons. Lightsabers. You know, Star Wars type weapons, he said. Your Meru drawing is a blueprint for a particle accelerator and a particle beam weapon, he said knowingly. Squeezing his thumb and forefinger together to mimic a pincer, he said the weapon is designed to rotate on the circular platform. The horns modulate the pulse emanating from the weapon. Presented here is a comparison of the base of the Meru drawing with a plan for a cyclotron, a particle accelerator designed by Ernest O. Livermore in 1929 and developed in the early 1930s, coincident with America's shift to a technologically based society. The cyclotron was a necessary technology used in the splitting of the atom and the development of the A-bomb. Glancing at the drawings, it is easy to see why the scientists saw a similarity between the two designs. The question is, what in the world is a blueprint for a particle accelerator doing in a 2nd century Chinese manuscript? One can see that the Meru drawing is an axis that resembles an antenna or a microwave weapon from Star Wars. The 24 mirror platforms component is a LINAC, multi-stage linear accelerator. Each individual platform represents a radio frequency acceleration ring, RF cavity. With 24 stages arranged in a vertical cascade, the system applies a progressive thrust to the particle beam that has left the circular base, increasing its kinetic energy at each pass. The pyramid with 2 doors, the plume, and the antenna. It is the summit of Mount Meru, the city of Indra, or the Sudarshana, where the physical universe ends and connects with the spiritual void. From an engineering standpoint, a pyramid equipped with louvers, doors, with a triangular terminal and a stylus on top perfectly describes a corona discharge terminal or a broadband emitting antenna. The doors serve as ventilation or emission slots for the generated microwaves or radiation. AI, artificial vision systems, associate this drawing with the structure of the human body, viewed as a microcosm, the spine with its 33 segments and the chakras, but they instantly recognize its striking analogy with Nikola Tesla's patents, such as the Wardenclyffe Tower or diagrams of fusion reactors. But the discussion becomes more interesting if we analyze the lower part of the machine in detail. Looking closer at the area at the base of the particle accelerator, we notice a humanoid being intent on operating the accelerator. He seems to have an elongated skull and touches a U-shaped structure with his right hand, while his left arm is extended along his body, and he also appears to have 2 glowing eyes. If an AI were to look for a reference in ancient texts for a U-shape with an elongated skull being at the center, it would connect the image to 2 specific contexts of ancient India. The Mahatpurushas or Rishis. In Vedic texts, the primordial sages linked to Mount Meru were often described with elongated heads, a symbol of the expansion of the 3rd eye or the Sahasrara chakra. They were portrayed inside geometric structures called vimanas or rathas, celestial chariots, and 3-dimensional yantra diagrams. Some ancient treatises on sacred architecture, such as the Samarangana Sutradhara, which ironically contains both rules for temples and descriptions of mechanical flying machines, show top-down sections of temples that look like actual integrated circuits, where the U represents the channeling of cosmic energy toward the central altar. The external U-shaped structure with the two side boxes is a bending dipole magnet. The U-shape channels the magnetic flux lines. The two side boxes could be the field coils, solenoids, that create the barrier potential. The anthropomorphic operator at the console is the biomechanical control calibration unit or user interface. Positioned at the point of maximum insulation, gray separation lines, the operator calibrates the voltage of the console located in the lower curve of the U, either manually or via proximity sensors. In high-voltage systems engineering, an operator never touches two different polarities at the same time to prevent current from passing through the heart. The right hand on the left box, the being is performing a calibration or a potential injection operation on the system's cathode. He is injecting his biological energy, or his resonance frequency, directly into the magnetic core before the beam shoots toward the central black box. The left arm dangling at his side, this represents the biological grounding. By leaving the left arm isolated or pointing downward, the being discharges the excess electrostatic or magnetic charge. He acts as a living conductor between the underground power supply and the synchrotron's U-shaped magnet. The elongated head and the completely white, glowing eyes indicate that the being is not looking with three-dimensional biological sight, but is in a state of neural hyperconnection with the machine. In the movie Contact, during the journey, the digital systems fail and the only way to record and stabilize the trip is through the protagonist's consciousness itself.
Okay to go. Okay to go.
Initiate drop sequence. On my mark. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The white, glowing eyes describe a biophotonic overload effect. The being has synchronized the brain waves of his elongated skull with the synchrotron's microwaves. He is the machine's CPU. If we compare this mechanism with the legendary Pillar of Osiris, often described in alternative theories as a device designed to project the soul or the body of the pharaohs toward the stars, the technological cycle of the Meru Device becomes extraordinarily clear. The architectural alignment between these ancient structures ceases to be merely symbolic and reveals a strict operational framework of physics. This ancient machine functions through a highly coordinated, multi-stage process where biological consciousness and raw electromagnetic power merge to breach the limits of known physical dimensions. Phase 1 begins with local injection and bending at the base. The synchrotron and the specialized U-shaped magnetic system compress plasma or exotic particles at the very center of the device. Within this core, the anthropomorphic biological being acts as a vital component, precisely coordinating the triggering resonance frequency. Phase 2 involves thrust generation through the 24 stages. The highly compressed particle beam is fired vertically along the 24 stages of the linear accelerator, LINAC. Each sequential stage increases the beam's energy exponentially. As these particles cross specific energetic thresholds relative to Planck's constant, they begin to warp and distort the local fabric of surrounding spacetime, shifting the system from conventional electrodynamics into quantum gravitational manipulation. This is followed by Phase 3, the coaxial focusing at the tower's neck. Here, the two concentric boxes and the central tube act as a sophisticated magnetic nozzle. This assembly compresses the distorting energy stream, channeling it directly upward into the floor of the summit pyramid. The structural narrowing forces the accelerating field into a highly coherent, ultra-dense energetic column, focusing the entire output toward the final chamber. Phase 4 represents the jump at the pyramid. The massive energy injected into the summit pyramid tears the local space-time fabric. Inside the jump room, a local warp bubble is generated. Travelers enter through the first geometric door, cross the chamber, and by stepping through the second door at the exact moment of peak energy, they find themselves instantly projected light years away through the transit conduit stabilized by the top antenna. This structural and geometric convergence is extraordinarily precise. If we analyze the Great Pyramid of Giza and its underground complex not as mere funerary monuments, but as a unified technological system of applied physics, the overlap with the schematic of the Meru Device and the Pillar of Osiris becomes nearly identical, transforming our understanding of ancient architectural layouts from passive tombs into active interstellar gateways. The research conducted by Corrado Malanga and Filippo Biondi's team, the COFR project, which processed data from satellite synthetic aperture radar, SAR, maps exactly the submerged technological portion of the iceberg that was previously missing to complete the circuit. This radar analysis reveals hidden subterranean networks that mirror the lower stages of the machine. Consequently, the second-century drawing does not merely show a transmitting antenna, but a true transit vector. The pyramid at the top, with its two distinct geometric openings, behaves exactly as the physical interface between our three-dimensional space and the network of hyperspatial tunnels generated by the 24-stage magnetic engine positioned beneath it. The ancient blueprints thus describe a cohesive, functional machine designed to bypass cosmic distances by converting structural geometry into pure energetic manipulation. In confirmation of what has been said, here is a drawing etched onto a gold plate presented to King Tutankhamun made by Nubian goldsmiths. The Stargate model proposes it is a warp craft instead. Note the pillar at the bottom center of the drawing. Two Nubian figures stand beside a pillar in the middle of the Egyptian symbol for gate. And let us also remember that the two sphinxes of Giza were called guardians of the gate to the yonder site. In the Meru drawing, the vertical tower is composed of 24 identical and specular geometric platforms that act as a linear accelerator to propel the beam. In Giza, inside the pyramid, above the king's chamber, develops the Djed Pillar, a vertical structure formed by 5 overlapping relieving chambers separated by massive smooth granite slabs. The Djed Pillar acts in tandem with the Grand Gallery, which features 28 pairs of geometric slots along the ramps. The Djed Pillar and the Grand Gallery are the frequency multipliers and acceleration stages. The granite, highly rich in quartz crystals, acts as a piezoelectric transducer. The acoustic and electromagnetic energy coming from the underground is compressed and bounced between the steps of the gallery and the levels of the Djed Pillar, accelerating and focusing the energy flow, a true beam of scalar or tachyonic waves, toward the summit of the pyramid. The Pyramidion, the gold or electrum-coated capstone now missing, served as an emission and anchoring antenna to stabilize the tunnel toward the chosen stellar coordinates, exactly like the antenna on the plume of Meru. The two systems are conceptually identical. Both apply the laws of fractal geometry and harmonic resonance to convert basic telluric hydraulic energy from 1 kilometers underground into focused electromagnetic and kinetic energy within the Djed Pillar and the 24 stages of the particle accelerator shown in the 2nd century drawing. The convergence between the radar data used by Biondi and Malanga and the Meru blueprint demonstrates that antiquity knew no artistic randomness. If you place 5 acoustic electromagnetic resonators, the 5 Djed pillars on the same plane, you get an effect called constructive phase interference. The waves emitted by each structure add up and self-amplify in the central space, creating an immense energy potential with 0 resource consumption. At this point, an even more interesting property of the system emerges. An accelerator capable of generating a coherent field through constructive interference is not limited to simple energy transfer. It becomes a device capable of modifying the physical conditions of the volume of space crossed by the beam itself. In other words, the ultimate function of the complex would not be power production, but the creation of a controlled environment in which the normal limitations imposed by distance, inertia, and gravity can be temporarily redefined. The Djed Pillar, the Grand Gallery, and the Pyramidion therefore represent the 3 components of a single space-time engineering system, generation, amplification, and coupling. When all sections operate in perfect resonance, the pyramid no longer behaves as an architectural structure, but as an active node capable of opening a stable channel between different coordinates of space. In this configuration, travel does not occur through distance. It is distance itself that is compressed until it becomes irrelevant.
Vibration's getting a little stronger now.
We're picking up some low-frequency noise.
Midtown Echo, can you confirm?
It looks fine to me.
Roger. Jerry, what do you think?
I'm still go.
People, we are still go.
Something's happening. I'm... There's a light. Do you see that? I'm seeing something. I can't tell whether it's daylight or not. There it is again. It's coming from the bottom. Here, let me show it to you. Do you see that?
Negative. Ellie, you're breaking up. Com 1, can we boost our signal?
Ready at maximum. 65%.
The material is changing. It's bordering on translucence. And the system's intact. There's got to be some kind of electromagnetic field. Are you reading this?
Negative. We're seeing only interference.
I can't describe it. I can't even explain it.
70%.
People, we have intermittent com, but we are still go. Initiate secondary drive systems.
Initiating auxiliary booster sequence.
We're go for ignition. We have auxiliary booster ignition.
All vibration and G levels are in the green.
Control, if you're reading me, I am okay to go. Okay to go. I'm okay to go. I'm okay to go. Okay to go. I'm okay. I'm okay to go. I'm okay to go. I'm okay to go.
Initiate drop sequence. On my mark. 10, 9,
Power transfer.
8, 7, 6, 5,